Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the KellyCast, second video of the week. 3 more games on the slate to get through. Welcome if this is your first time on the KellyCast page. My name is Dan Kelly. I'm the host, the producer, the founder, the director, everything. That's me. Thank you for joining. We cover NFL as a whole, the latest up-to-date information, predictions, analysis, all that good stuff. And as you can see by the set, big Bills fan. We talk Bills all the time. There's a Bills video every single week, so be on the lookout for that. Today, we're starting off with Green Bay Packers visiting the Tennessee Titans. And you see in the graphic there, Malik Willis for the Packers starting, obviously, because Jordan Love got injured in Brazil. And the Titans, starting off the season 0-2, they lose Derrick Henry, and all of a sudden they can't win. Who guessed it? Oh, wait. Everybody did, because the Titans are just a bad football team. Let's take a look at how the Packers did last week against the Colts. They won 16-10 as a final. Malik Willis didn't have much of a chance to throw the ball, but went 12 of 14, 122 yards and a score. You have to remember, Malik Willis joined the Packers less than a month ago. So it's not surprising to see them kind of focus on the run game, and that's what they did. 32 carries for Josh Jacobs last week, 151 yards. He did not let them down. Leading receiver Romeo Doubs. Good for Green Bay, man. If they can catch a couple of wins here with Jordan Love out, they're going to be in a great position when he comes back in an NFC that's already weak. So the Packers made the playoffs last year, had a victory over the Dallas Cowboys, and this year they're looking to go further. And hopefully when Jordan Love comes back, he stays healthy and we can see what this Packers team is going to be all about. But the reason I wore this shirt is not just for the Tennessee Titans. If you can't see it, it says, "I'm fine, everything is fine," right? And I feel like that's how some of your teams might feel if you're winless, like the Tennessee Titans, who lost to the Jets last week. We talked a little bit about that in the last video, going through 3 other games this week. If you didn't see it, please check that out on our channel. 24-17 was the final. Jets beat the Titans. Will Levis, he's a meme. He's a walking meme. Just look it up on social media. You'll see what I mean. 19-28, 192 yards, a score, and an interception. Their big signing in free agency, Tony Pollard, got the ball 17 times, only managed 62 yards. Calvin Ridley, the leading receiver, 77 yards, caught 4 passes, and a score. This one, fairly simple to me. I was going to go with the Packers because I think, they were a well-coached team. They're good on defense, and Malik Willis showed something last week. But if you got to hand the ball off 32 times to your running back, I'm not too confident in your ability to be able to win those games. Tennessee's home in this matchup. They're going to be angry. They haven't gotten a win yet. I'm going to select the Tennessee Titans this week, and I'll throw the rest of the KellyCast Cruise picks up. Kevin owns a stake in the Packers, so of course he's going Packers. I don't even need to see his message to be able to know that, but interesting to see how everybody else goes. If there's a variety here, if there's a favorite, I think maybe the Titans are favored, being that they're the home team, but that's not always true when it comes to the KellyCast, because the KellyCast isn't Vegas. We don't have the same odds. We don't have the point differential, anything like that. We just go team, who's going to win. You know how it goes. Moving on to another AFC versus NFC matchup. I let you know there's a lot of those this week. The Chicago Bears and the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Bears had their first look on primetime last week, and it was not pretty. They lost to the Houston Texans 19-13. Caleb Williams not looking great in the regular season so far. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's not going to be great. Just the stats will tell you he has struggled. 23 of 37, 174 yards, 2 interceptions. It's going to take some time for him to get used to the speed of the league. They got to win week 1, and that was great, but back down to earth week 2. He also led the team in rushing, 5 carries for 44 yards, and their leading receiver, DJ Moore, 6 receptions, 53 yards. Playing the Texans, primetime football, it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to come out under the lights. Week 2 of the NFL, your first primetime game. All the eyes of the nation are on you and your painted nails. I don't have a problem with it. Just, mentioning it. Meanwhile, the Colts, you see their record right there. 0-2. Same thing we talked about for the Titans, kind of just struggling to find their footing. Anthony Richardson last week against the Packers, 17 of 34, 204, a touchdown, but 3 interceptions. That will cost you a game, especially a one-score game against the team that they could have beat in the Packers, who were starting Malik Willis, as we mentioned just a couple minutes ago. Jonathan Taylor went for 100 yards, 8.6 average, and their leading receiver was Alec Pierce once again, who last week had a crazy performance, but this week 5 receptions, 56 yards, and a score. Bears and Colts, man. I feel like this is a toss-up for me, so I'm going to give myself some time to think by throwing up the KellyCast cruise picks. Good luck to everybody included here in the predictions. We got 12 boys and girls all vying for that KellyCast World Championship. I'm feeling underdog style this week. I'm feeling the underdog mood, and I'm picking a lot of underdogs. And I'm going to continue that trend. I think that's how you win in this league here, is by, having some picks that not everybody's going to have. And with that, I'm going to select the Chicago Bears in this matchup. Now, it's tough. I think the Colts are the safer pick. They're the home team. They're going to want to win this game. I'm betting on Caleb, man. He's a really good player, and I think he's going to be accustomed to the league shortly. And once that happens, teams are going to have to start preparing a lot differently. And while he has yet to have that coming out party, he has that opportunity every week to show what he's got and to show teams, hey, this may not be on film yet, but it's in my repertoire, right? An AFC matchup here between the undefeated Chargers and the undefeated Steelers. Now, if you're new here, you might not know this, but I'm a Steelers hater. I don't like them. I think they're overhyped. I like Tomlin. I think he's a really good coach, and he's always going to lead them to a winning record no matter what, because he's great on defense. But they're frauds, man. I will say it over and over again. They have an easy schedule, and so far they're undefeated and whatever. Meanwhile, the Chargers, they played the Panthers last week, so I really don't know how legit they are either. Of course, in week 1, they beat the Raiders, and the Raiders beat the Ravens last week. It's a whole thing, right, when you talk about what team is better. If the Chiefs beat the Texans and the Texans beat the Eagles and the Bills beat the Eagles, does that mean the Bills are better than the Chiefs? I don't like that. I don't like that level of thinking, but it is a process that a lot of fans seem to navigate towards and be like, hey, well, if I beat you and they beat them, then I'm better than you. And I don't have that feeling. So let's kick things off here with the LA Chargers last week against the Panthers. Their final 26-3 mollywopped them. Justin Herbert goes 14 of 20, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. J.K. Dobbins on the ground, 17 carries, 131 yards and a score. And Quentin Johnston shows that he has some hands. Catches 2 touchdowns last week, 5 receptions, 51 yards. It's what you expect at this point. Carolina just, man. And we'll talk about them in a little bit, benching Bryce Young after only 18 games. But looking at the Steelers, who beat the Broncos last week, we talked about that in the previous video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. 13-6 was the final. Fields goes 13 of 21, 17 and a score. Najee Harris on the ground goes for 69 yards. That's very nice. And Pat Freiermuth, their leading receiver, 4 receptions, 39 yards. At 2-0, right, for the Steelers, I think this means Justin Fields has the job, at least until they lose or until they have a worse performance, which, how can you have a worse performance than putting up 13 points? You ask, but they won 13-6. So as long as they continue to win, I think Justin Fields is going to continue to start. I don't know how long Russell Wilson's hamstring injury is supposed to keep him out, or what is Tomlin's thoughts, in that coaching room. This game in Pittsburgh, it's a tough place to play. I'm going to throw up the KellyCast crew picks right now. Good luck to everybody participating. Who haven't I mentioned in a while? Ken had a solid week 2 after a okay week 1, so we'll see how he does this week. Man, I want to go Chargers because they're the better team here, but Pittsburgh is a really tough place to play. Justin Herbert, Steelers defense, TJ Watt. Give me the LA Chargers. I called the Steelers frauds. I have to stand by it. I can't go back on my word. I'm not that kind of person. I'm a Kelly. This is the KellyCast. So I need to make sure that I stand by my thoughts. But if you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you for watching. Once again, Dan Kelly, KellyCast, leave a like, share, subscribe. If you haven't, tell your friends, your enemies, your neighbors, everybody about this podcast. We talk football, Buffalo Bills, the latest in the league, all that kind of stuff. But for now, I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.